Hi everyone. So this is my first Company of Heroes commentary. This game was actually played. It's probably a 2-3 month old game, but I saved the replay and I decided to make a quick commentary video and show you guys the match. Essentially, it is 4v4 on Essen Steelworks. We've got two OKW players, two Wehrmacht. This is me right over here. And on the enemy side, we have got a US player, British, Soviet, and two Soviets. So I've actually not played. I've actually not seen this replay for quite some time. I obviously know how it ends, but I haven't played this for ages. I haven't played this replay for ages. So a lot of this is new to me, but I thought I'd just run through it because it does have a pretty amazing ending. Although I have to say my performance throughout is not that great. So bear with me. Bear with me. My commentary skills aren't too great. This is the first time I'm doing it, but I thought I'd give it a go. So we're just obviously running and trying to fight the exact same fuel points as everyone does. These guys seem to have it easy. They've just taken over. Soviet player only just now arriving. And there we go, stones straight up on the building. You know what? I'm just gonna push the volume down just a little bit more because I think that's... I don't know if it's my headphones because I can hear back a lot. Alright, let's go. There we go. Oh, perfect. They've pretty much driven them off. So that's free fuel for us, but me and my friends seem to be struggling a little bit. The dreaded assault infantry section. No good. And that's me getting shredded. So something you guys will notice is I'm not too good at the game. I used to play when it first came out, I think back in 2013. And then I just stopped playing. I kind of stopped playing a lot of video games for a long time. And then I only recently got back into them about a year ago or less than a year ago. And I picked up Company of Heroes less than 2 months ago or so. Started playing it again. Obviously fell in love with it all over again. But it's taken me a long time to try and learn all the tactics, strategies, all the units. I don't even know how OKW works. I don't even know how US and British work as well as I should, because I used to only play when it was just the Wehrmacht and the Soviets, and obviously since then they've released all these faction packs and I only now recently got back into it. So it has been a bit of a learning curve. I wasn't naturally the best player, and jumping back into it now, you could tell that I'm clearly struggling. Going up against the US player and then the British one. And you'll see a lot of that in this game, where our side gets pummeled, kind of because of me, and these guys on the left flank, they seem to have a fairly decent job of holding, and they keep us in the game for as long as we do stay in it, but eventually, one side does win over the other, but I'll let the gameplay speak for itself. So let's have a look and see what's going on. The left flank is completely secured. These guys have kind of locked it down. And I don't know if the Soviet players have just stopped trying. They've positioned some units in the mid, and they're pushing up, but they're not really trying. There's no concentrated effort. They don't have any support weapons. They've just got their, conscript battalions and engineers at this stage, which isn't too odd for Essen Steelworks, because people tend to one outflank and run around. But I mean, if you don't have a support weapon, it's going to be difficult to even take and hold it. So that flank is pretty secure, but this side over here, we're just getting smashed. I mean, at this stage, almost 5 minutes in, I've only got the 4 squads, and I'm just holding on, because I think I've lost 1 or 2 so far. That was a pretty good nade. And I think this is when I start playing a little bit more safely. I've taken comfort in the fact that we've secured the left side, and so I'm just slowly pushing up. There we go, we got a squad wipe. This guy's being a bit too optimistic. He's got his He's got his ambulance right here and a beacon set up right next to us, which is not too sensible. And I thought I'd just push up against it. And this is something that you'll find, I feel like maybe I'm not the only one, a lot of people do. In Essen, if you lose the fuel and they set up with an MG, mortar pit and a forward base, a lot of players will simply just flank, go for the victory point, the munitions point, and just hold that section. Because that's one of the unique parts of this game. Sorry, one of the unique aspects of this map. That the fuel points and the victory / munition points, they all feel like worlds apart. If you control the fuel point, it doesn't necessarily mean you control the victory point, and vice versa. So even if you're behind in the game, there's a chance that you can make a comeback simply by holding one or the other. And the perfect example is this here. We've got the fuel locked down, but they've just gone ahead and taken the victory point, completely cutting these guys off. So it sort of forced them out of their entrenched position to try and retake this area. And that's something that we were going for on this end. So like I said, this game, I don't think it's too exciting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward it, go through as much as we can, and just try and build it up to the really exciting part in the end. So they sort of get pushed back, and this is a bit dangerous. This is when they really start taking over a lot of things. And jumping over to the right side. I think I've finally managed to retake the fuel point, thanks to this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful half-track, flame half-track. But then there you go. They come up with their own, and that is dangerous. Oof. Cat and mouse. Is he going to give up? Yeah, he gives up. Skin of our teeth. 4 kills and a sliver of health. And I think at this stage I'm just trying to hunt it down before it can do any more damage. And there you go. As soon as we take over the fuel, they lose theirs. But obviously we get counterattacked pretty heavily. And there you go. 2 squad wipes. So, like I said, I lost a lot during this game, simply because I'm generally not that great at the game, but also because I had no idea how some of the factions really worked and what was going on. And same here, we've got middle, we're fighting over the right flank, but left seems to have been completely pushed back. And look, they've finally gotten some support weapons up, and I think that's part of the reason. Why they've been able to be so successful on this front. And these guys are just so entrenched here, it's insane. I mean, they've got a bunch of infantry. They don't really have too many support weapons, but forward assembly, ambulance, beacons, you know, and a handful of tanks doesn't hurt. So this is the part where, to be honest, I kind of personally gave up. I was still in the game. I don't believe in actually giving up, but I kind of mentally just said, alright, you know what? We're not going to be able to push through. Let's just try and drag it out and see if breakthrough happens, or see if they overextend. So you'll sort of, I think, if I remember correctly, you'll see me come up and set up a defensive line here, or try and push towards the flank, and that's the furthest I go. You don't see a major push from me or even my teammate until much later in the game. But as you can see, I'll bring up the map. We have completely been dominated. We've lost all munitions, all fuel, all resource points. We just have this handful of points in the middle here, and we've lost all victory points as well. So, you know, we're down to 258, and they're still at 500. So we literally, even in terms of victory points, we haven't scratched them at all. Not even a single scratch. And that's the thing. In this match, once we finally manage to push them back, we keep getting pushed away. Like, look at that. We almost capped it, or we almost decapped it, and they've got like huge amounts of infantry just pushing us back. So props to my teammate. This guy, I think I played with him before. He's not the nicest of players, but he's pretty good. He pretty much kept us in the game on this flank for quite some time, until I started building up a lot more infantry to be able to start contributing to any defense. this is when I pivot and say, look, I got to stop the bleed. So cap the middle point, and continued supporting him on this flank with whatever I could. But these guys are just so well entrenched here that it's ridiculous. On the left flank, these guys, to be honest, this is where the real battle is happening. Look at that. They've just bombed this entire city area to hell. And you can tell these guys are really going hard. He's even got his own artillery piece that's sort of blowing this area to bits. And they're trying to dislodge them. But obviously it is not easy. And I can't remember if I lose this tank. I wouldn't be surprised if I do. I don't. So I think I got a bit lucky there. So essentially I had no idea. I'll actually talk about the doctrine here that I decided to go with, close the pocket. So I actually had no idea this existed, but I was sort of browsing the relic store, the online store, and this one, I was sort of researching all of them, and this one sort of came up and it seemed pretty interesting. I had no idea how it worked, but I kind of liked how it all synergized with each other. The fact that this attacks cut off territories, I don't know how well it worked, but in theory it seemed pretty good. I always love stormtroopers, and everything else seemed pretty good, especially the camouflage, ambush training, which you could use even if you're not pulling off the pocket. But I thought I'd just use it because it synergized really well, and to be honest, it turned out to be my best doctrine. So what you'll see is what I did was we needed to cut off this point and that point. So what I did was, I'm just going to pause it because I think I go for it now. I cut off this point, I spawned some units there, cut off this point, and then cut off that point to try and get the pocket closed. Essentially, we can see throughout the map they are so well embedded. They've essentially got dominance over the whole map. That's my tank literally just about to die. Even on this side, they've pretty strong presence. All of our units, while we're trying to push, we're essentially pushed back to this corner here. Like he's even built an AT gun right in front of our base. I mean, we're all the way back. And yeah, we're essentially in a corner trying to decap something. 500 victory points, we haven't scratched them at all, and we're down to 38. So I'm using close the pocket. You know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Let's find out. So right here, I go straight for that, decapping that, and I think I used the brake supply line on this little point here. And 3, 2, 1, we've broken the supply line, and then I just call it in. And here we go. Let's see what we can find out. Sorry if my camera works a little bit shoddy. Oh, there we go. It's begun. Barrage has begun. Oh, it's already knocked out all the support weapons, and there you go. It's completely destroyed them. Oh my god, I've just missed like all of it. But you can see that it's completely wiped out their entire front line. They have nothing left, and the pocket is still going. The only thing that it's spared is the tanks. I kind of want to see this. I think this gets destroyed as well. But the only thing that gets spared is the tanks, and they are forced to retreat because there is nothing that they can do. And essentially, they literally, look at that. From all that control, they've literally lost the entire map, and yeah, it's still going. It's still knocked out a few things. And all they have left is 2 beacons, a building that's obviously under their control, and that's it. Every single unit is back at base or huddling at their original cutoff territories. And this is where I sort of tell my teammates, push ahead, there's nothing left. And so we slowly begin scouting out ahead, pushing ahead, seeing what the situation is. And as you can see, there is nothing left. They're trying to come back, but they've just gone through an absolute mauling. So our left flanks, will fast forward it up a little bit. Apologies if I wasn't able to capture that close the pocket too perfectly, but tried doing what I could. It does happen really fast. It happens in like 45 seconds. So you can tell how effectively it works. So these guys are trying to push back, but I've got my flame truck. They've got his stones. It's not going to be the easiest job. The left flank, you know, now that we're pushing up to them, So you could see we finally started scratching them down to 435. We're stuck on 31. And now it's on them. It's on them to try and retake what we've captured. So they're trying to flank. Obviously, they're going to have a hell of a time trying to take those points because I've set up in the middle. My ally's just, he's got his Yag Tiger or King Tiger. He's got his AT guns, his artillery, and we're just so well entrenched now. We've got our heavy tanks that it's just going to be almost impossible for them to try and take this. Like he's trying. As soon as they decap 1 point, we've still got 2 others, so they're having a hell of a time. And just like that, like they're concentrating mid, so I got pushed back a little bit. I got lost a lot, to be honest, but there you go, another close the pocket, and we're back at it again. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I actually didn't know I did 2 close the pockets, but we got another one, and it's just mauling them again. And again, it knocks out a lot of their troops, especially support weapons, and the truth is, even if it doesn't, it forces all of them back. Take him out? No. Which is amazing. Oh, no, okay, it took out something here, and it took that out as well. So even if it doesn't take things out, it really does. He ended up going down. Poor lad. Oh, what about the major? No, he doesn't go down. So it's actually really effective because even if it doesn't take down any units, it usually forces the enemy to retreat, which means you can push ahead and you can start building emplacements and really entrench yourself. As you see here, you know, this guy's got the right flank secured, and they've already got an AT gun on the left, which means any counter attack is going to have to pay in blood, and I start rebuilding and pushing out to the mid. And we're still on 31. You know, they're trying now to come back with one focused push, but they're losing points fast. I mean, they're down to 300. And here they are. I think he's going to go for one big push mid, but it might be too little too late, to be honest. And I think in situations like this, teams tend to become a bit desperate. They sort of try and run. They try and run, you know, they fight traditionally, you know, each player fighting an individual battle, whereas I think the enemy team might have benefited from pushing on one front, all 4 of them concentrated, because they could have easily overrun a single one, but if they, you know, fought individually, they're not powerful enough to beat like a King Tiger. But if they all rushed this King Tiger, they could have knocked out these AT guns and easily recapped anything. But obviously it is difficult in the heat of the moment. They're losing points fast, they're down to like 200, they're just trying to take a single point at this stage. But as you can see, everyone's helping. We're all in the mid, we're all fighting the counter attack, and they just can't do anything. And we obviously have our first rage quit, and they're down to 168. And my team, and I have to give props to them, they didn't surrender. We're complete randoms, and usually in Company of Heroes 2 I've found a lot of randoms. As soon as you start losing, they just quit. But this is the first game where, you know, we've been down 500 VPs, down to like 31, and no one quit. Like, not a single person gave up. Even though we were pushed back to our base for the whole game, no one surrendered, which, to be honest, props to my team. So have a look at their names, you know, really props to them. And it ended up with a really good result, because at the end of it, you know, our patience paid off. I pulled off a master stroke, thanks to my team holding off the enemy, and at the end of it, look at it, we just dominated everywhere. And we're essentially, like, they don't even have any presence outside now. 27 points, 24, and they've thrown in the towel. And yeah, there it is. Yeah, see, like, I wasn't even expecting it to work that well, but it did. And and it ended in what was a really good match. So yeah, I thought I'd just do this video, because to be honest, I was very impressed and very shocked at how well the pocket closed. I think I might do more videos in the future about this game, and maybe a few other videos, but those ones will most likely be live. This is probably the first and only one that I do that's an old replay, but I thought this game was too good not to record and upload and commentate on. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and just let me know if if there's any tips and tricks, because I am really just getting back into this game. And before we go, we might just have a look at the overview panel and see who did what. So the allied team, decent amount of kills, decent amount of damage. Where am I? So this is a bit of a surprise to me. I actually thought I did the least amount of damage but on my team, but looks like I did 32,000. I think a lot of that might be because of the close the pocket, but who knows, right? Because I did only get 90 unit kills, and this guy, wow, 215, so they were definitely pulling their weight. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this video has been entertaining, and I hope it has educated those players who don't know what close the pocket is, because it is very lethal in the wrong hands and is very frustrating when it's used against you. So thanks, enjoy, and hopefully I might catch you next time.